Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Kavanaugh's Corner. Today in the show I'm going to be bringing you my final review here of the Alfred Hitchcock Classics Collection, and this is the last film in the series, a movie that came out back in 1963, and that is of course The Birds, starring Tippi Hedren, Rod Taylor, again, a bunch of great actors and actresses in this film. And this is another one of my favorites. Again, all four of these films mean something to me in different ways. And this is actually one of the first Hitchcock movies I ever saw. The first movie I ever saw of his was Psycho. This was the second. I watched this movie when I was a kid, and it scared the ever-living crap out of me. And looking back at it now, you know, it's not as scary as I once thought it was, being older now. But it does really keep you on edge in certain scenes. There is some intense stuff in this movie, even today's standards. There's some rough stuff, but I was interested to see how this would be on 4K, because unlike Psycho and the other three movies in the series, this movie has a lot of special effects shots. And this is a big monster movie from Hitchcock, and I was wondering how these special effects would hold up, because I remember watching this on VHS when I was a kid, and the special effects didn't look that great back then, so I'm wondering how it was going to look in 4K. So today I'm going to be talking about the new 4K release that's in the set, and really, I have to say, you know, so far this set has blown me away. Honestly, the first three movies make it worth the purchase on its own. The Birds is another one, no exception with The Birds. The Birds is another movie that looks fantastic, and the only complaint that I have about this movie is the fact that the special effects, as I mentioned, have not aged very great. Again, this movie came out in 1963, so I have to give it that. Again, this is a lot of special effects shots for this movie. There's a lot of in-camera effects, there's a lot of overlays. Again, they really were doing some cutting-edge stuff with this film. And not all of it looks great. And I have to say, though, here's the one thing I have to say about this movie, on 4K especially, okay? Is that this movie has never looked this clean, ever. And I mean that in the sense of film grain. This movie, when I had it on Blu-ray, even going back to DVD, VHS, I've had this movie in basically every format that's been known to man except for Betamax, really. And this movie looks almost spotless now. They've really did a great job of cleaning this film up. Now, they did not DNR this film. They did not use a lot of digital noise reduction from what I could see. There is a fine layer of grain throughout the film. It's a little more than Psycho and Vertigo, not extremely, not a lot, but there is more noticeable grain in this film than the other three. And I think that's mainly just because this movie has so many optical effects that I'm thinking the camera negative probably has had a workout over the years and may not be in good a condition as some of the other films that did not have as many effects shots in it. And the movie looks very good, I have to say. The movie looks very good. The HDR in this does wonders for the colors of this film. Tippi Hedren wears like this green outfit through most of the film, and it almost looks like a different shade of green in this version than I've seen in other versions of the film. Colors really benefit from this. There's one scene where there's a the famous bird attack scene, where they're in the restaurant and the fire happens. That fire is unbelievable looking now. It is this bright orangey yellow and red colors. Again, the color is all throughout the film. The birds look phenomenal as well, especially the birds in the opening scene when she's in the pet shop. The birds that are in the cages and stuff. The colors of these birds just jump out at you in this film. And they jump out at you in different ways, too. If you've seen this movie, you know what I mean. But the birds really do look amazing, and I think that really helps the effect of the film. It really makes you a little more scared, because these birds look realistic in certain scenes. Of course, there are some ones where The birds maybe don't look as convincing, but again, I thought the HDR did wonders for this movie, and honestly, the fact that Universal was able to clean it up to the degree that they did without taking away that detail level is, again, a great achievement from Universal. So far, I mean, I've been really blown away by this set, but the fact that this movie looks so pristine now, I'm very happy to have it, and I'm glad that they were able to do that, because this movie was one of these films that always kind of looked a little rough around the edges no matter how or where I saw it, and now the movie looks fantastic, and I had no complaints. Of course, the grain does pick up in certain scenes where there are a lot of optical effects, where you can tell that they're overlaying different layers of film over one another, especially in the scene where the kids are running from the schoolhouse and the birds are flying down and pecking at them. You can really see there's a much more grain in certain shots during that sequence than the rest of the film, and I think that's mainly because of all the work that was done on that original negative. It really probably, you know, brought a little dirt and dust onto it over the years. But again, I think the movie looks great overall. I had no complaints other than, again, some of the optical effects being a little out of date, but we can't change that. It was 1963. What are you going to do? Now, this is another film in the set here in terms of audio mix that they didn't really do any new audio mix on. This one here has a 2.0 mono track. And again, the 2.0 on the disc is not bad. I had no problems with it, much like Rear Window at the beginning of the set. You know, again, it's serviceable. It's pretty much the original sound mix. It still sounds great. I mean, the sound effects of the birds are still creepy as heck in this. I really was surprised of how impacted I was by hearing that sound mix again. It kind of brought back bad memories of when I first watched this movie when I was a kid. And that's kind of what creeped me out more than anything, was just the sound. But now, you know, again, hearing this on a home theater system, it really does sound great. I did notice that it was a little low at times. I did have to raise the volume a little bit to hear the dialogue a little better. But overall, I mean, the mix is very well balanced. Again, it's, you know, it's a mono track, but for what it is, it sounds great, and I had no complaints about that. Also, this disc also has a bunch of special features. My favorite one is actually the main one that's called The Birds, Hitchcock's Monster Movie. And that one is a nice little thing about the film itself, but also of how it's had an impact on these horror directors over the years, and really just what a monster movie is. And there's a lot of nice interviews with, like, John Carpenter. Ron Underwood, the director of Tremors, is interviewed in it, and I really liked it. I think it's a great little featurette documentary type thing. There's a little storyboard sequence. Another really great special feature that's on this disc is Tippi Hedren's screen test is actually on this as well, and all the special features are right on the 4K as well as the standard Blu-ray, so you don't have to switch discs back and forth. So really, you know, over the last couple weeks or so, I've been reviewing this set, and what are my final thoughts on the set? This set is so worth $60. This is one of the best sets for 4K discs that I own. These are 4 absolutely legendary classic films from the master of suspense himself, and I don't have any reason to not recommend this to you. Every movie in this set is a reason to buy this set. Every one of them. I had very minimal complaints about these films on 4K. All these movies are the best they've ever looked. And honestly, I think this is a great thing that Universal did here to put these movies in 4K so we can watch them in the highest quality possible. And I don't think we're ever going to see these movies look any better than what they are in this set. This is so worth it. I highly, highly recommend you pick up this set. This is a great release from Universal. Again, big hats off to them. They did a great job here. And honestly, I really hope that they do another set with more of Hitchcock's films. I'm really hoping to get North by Northwest in 4K, but I know that's partially owned by Warner Brothers and not Universal, so we'd have to see if we ever get that. Even a standalone release of that movie I'd love to have. That's another one of my favorite films of his. But again, until next time, we'll have to just wait and see. So if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so I can keep bringing you content like this. It's been an honor for me to bring you the 4 classic films in this collection here from Alfred Hitchcock, and I cannot wait to see what other films they release of his in the future on the format. Anyway, thank you again for coming back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Until next time, please stay safe and take it easy.